and welcome back to the Adric Cast. Yes, unfortunately, we're still here. You thought
Unfortunately.
you thought you found the crap Christmas present behind the Christmas tree that everyone else had forgot about, but no, it's us.
Oh God.
We're the last Christmas present of the year.
Mhm.
Well, the first Christmas present of the year, technically, because it's
That is
2025
true.
now.
That is
I don't
true.
like hearing that. No one ever likes it when it's a new year and you have to say the next year. It's like
Yeah.
birthdays. You feel old, don't you?
I feel very old, just generally. Yeah.
That
Thanks
is
for that.
Janey over there who feels very old,
Yeah.
and I am Gregor. I stole your introduction from you,
You
Jane.
did, but you know what? I'm fine with that.
I think I figured. Uh, so we're back to review Joy to the World today.
Yep.
The Christmas special. Uh, what was I going to say? Sorry, it's been a little while, so we're kind of. I compared it to shaking up a bottle of fizzy juice and opening it. Is what this episode is really.
Yeah.
Uh, Hope everyone had a good Christmas
Mm.
and had some form of acceptable celebration to mark the new year as well. How was your Christmas and New Year, Janie?
Yeah, it was good.
You got some good stuff.
Um, yeah, no, it was nice. I got to see my family, which was nice. Cute
Good.
little gifts, nice bits. It was just a nice Christmas. How was your Christmas?
It was okay.
Um,
Didn't do very much. Stayed at home, but
mm,
ate lots of shit and
yes,
drank lots.
yes.
Watched lots. I mean, we'll be talking about Doctor Who in particular, but there was a lot
Mm,
to watch on
it was
television
a lot to watch.
this year.
It was
I trust we haven't
brilliant.
actually talked about it at all, but I trust you enjoyed Wallace and Gromit.
Are you joking? Of course I enjoyed it. I was on my own on Christmas Day,
Ah,
which I actually very much enjoyed because I could just sit on
ah,
the sofa with my duvet all day.
mhm.
Um, But my Christmas Day morning consisted of watching all of the Wallace and Gromits over again. So I
Ah,
had a brilliant day and just drinking Baileys. So it was nice.
oh, a little
Mm,
bit of Bailey's.
a little
Oh,
bit of Baileys.
how lovely father.
It was God. Hmm.
It's Irish, isn't it? I forgot.
Yeah.
I
But
hope
I don't think it's compulsory that every time it comes up in conversation,
no,
you put on a little Irish accent.
yeah, I did something similar with Lost. I didn't watch all of them, but I watched Grand Day Out in
That is
Christmas
the
morning.
best one.
It was just on the telly, and I was like,
Oh, okay.
why don't we whet our appetites for the Wallace and Gromit to come by watching this one? And yeah, you can't go wrong with them. I
I think
mean,
they're brilliant.
yeah, they do take their time with them, but that's they want to make them perfect,
Yeah.
and so it's always worth the wait. Did you watch
Mm.
Gavin and Stacey as well?
I did. I watched Gavin and Stacey on Boxing Day with my family.
Okay.
Um, what did you think?
I've seen some. I haven't seen all the Gavin and Stacey. I know there's not too many of them. There's like 20 or something, but
It's
I haven't
like
seen them
three
all.
series and then like
Three
some
series.
specials.
Gavin and Stacey was one of those ones where I just watched the odd episode when it was on
Mm.
repeat, really. So I was familiar with the world of Gavin and Stacey, but they made lots of references that I don't think I quite got. But I enjoyed it. I was
Hmm.
incredibly surprised to learn that Corden was a creative mind behind that episode.
Are you joking? He writes all of them.
I never knew that.
He's the co-writer with Nessa.
Did they write them all?
Yes,
Ruth, what's her name?
Ruth
Hmm,
Jones.
Ruth Jones.
She's brilliant. I
Just
fucking love her.
James Corden and emotion. It just really surprises me. Anyway, this isn't the Smithy cast or the Nessa
Mm.
cast. So we'll leave Gavin and Stacey for now, and all the Whovians who have been sleeping through that can wake up
Yeah.
because we've got Doctor Who to talk about. Um, you took a big sigh there.
I
Uh,
did, sorry, I'm just getting ready.
I think everyone could kind of guess what your thoughts would be
Yeah.
on the Christmas special.
Yeah.
I could kind of guess before it even came
Yeah.
out, to be honest. Though I have to say, as a whole, it isn't universally hated. I think it's a real mixed reception among the sort of fan community. Uh,
Mm, mm,
I've been trying very desperately to keep away from Twitter and stuff because
mm.
I fucking hate everything that goes on there now.
That's
Uh,
true.
but then every time I want to find out someone's opinion on a Doctor Who thing, I have to fucking go back on it and
Yeah.
oh, for
Mm,
God's sake. Uh, but yeah, it's an interesting one, and we were
mm.
probably going to reflect to that reception ourselves, since we will be opposed, and we'll have to try and work out uh, what our unanimous decision will be at the end, our unanimous score.
It's gonna be an
Uh,
interesting one.
it's an interesting one, and plus we don't have all day to do it as well.
No.
Um, but before we talk about it, there's been a couple of things going on in the world of Doctor Who. Well, there's been a lot of things that have gone on since last Adric Cast, but
Mhm.
looking just at things that have happened recently, Tom Baker has been nominated for an MBE.
Oh, thank God I didn't know where you were going with that, and I did sort of think, "What have I
Every
missed?"
time he pops up in the news, everyone's like, "Oh God, is he this?" Poor
I'm worried. Every time I see something, I'm like, "Oh my God, this is it."
For some reason, he's obsessed with his debt. Like every time they interview him, he brings it up. Like they did a big interview with him in Doctor Who magazine.
Mm.
I think 2016 or 2017, and it was like a 2 issue long, big super interview. Maybe because they thought, we better get all the juice we can get
Better
out of him.
monetize on him now.
But he was just talking
Jesus.
about it during the interview, and like they were writing it in, and he was just talking about dying, and then his partner had to come up and be like, "By the way, he's not ill or anything. He's just miserable." I can't stop
God.
thinking about dying.
Oh my God. Christ.
But yeah, I don't care for the Royals or anything like that, but Tom Baker getting national recognition, I'll allow it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at that time as well, because 50 years since he uh, took the lead in
Mm.
Robot.
Mhm.
Uh, so a good time for that. In other news, season seven's coming out in Blu-ray.
Mm.
Quite like season seven. There's
It's
only
a
one
good one,
story.
isn't it? It is a good one.
It's a good, well, it's a solid. I feel a little bit iffy about Doctor and the Silurians, uh,
Why?
because
Is
it's a
it
bit
is it the
of a.
cliffhanger, "Hello, are you a Silurian?"
What
Is it
Silurian?
that?
My dear fellow, would you care to join me for a glass of port and watch the cricket?
I do
Uh,
think though that season has the best cliffhangers. You've got that, you've
oh,
got the
it
one
does.
from the ambassadors where they're like,
Oh,
quick, get it
oh,
open, and then that's
I
it.
don't know. Oh, it
The
is, and
best
it's because
cliffhangers.
they didn't quite get that noise in yet. The iconic
Mm.
cliffhanger noise. So all of the credits cut like just suddenly cut in like really dramatically. Or the one when they shoot the doctor by accident and they cut the soldier off mid sentence. So it's like,
Yeah.
"Who told you to fire? You stupid!" You tell he was going to be like, "You stupid cunt" or something like that.
God. Brilliant.
I hope they edit
Yeah.
that in. They like adding little bits to the blue.
You stupid cunt.
Get someone to come in with the
Oh
microphone just
God.
to finish
Can
off
you
that line.
imagine?
You stupid cunt.
Oh,
Um, but so
brilliant.
I mean, it's not terrible a story. Just think it's the weakest one of the season, and it's the
Hmm.
one that's maybe closer to mid than good. Uh,
Interesting. A hot
mm,
take.
mm. It's a bit of a hot take. I
It
think
is
I'm
a bit
very
of a hot
justified,
take.
and we've talked about potentially doing Inferno, but actually,
Mm.
I need to give my case for why I don't like the Silurians as much as everyone else. Uh, yeah, maybe we'll do something around season 7, and plus,
Yeah.
I'm excited for it not only because most of the stories are good, but also it needs some visual touching up quite badly because the colorization's a bit naff and all of
You
that.
see, I hate it when they do that, though. I
Well,
think
I
I
agree if
kind
people
of, there's
do.
something quite quintessential about it. And it's like, we've spoken about this before. I love a shaky set. I love a
Well,
shaky set.
it's not that, Janie. I don't
No,
mean
but I
like.
just love everything that is not right about it. I
Well,
love
this
it.
is something that's not right about it for the wrong, like, because when they recolorized it,
Mm.
they got the colorizations a bit blurry, so it's not as it looked during broadcast.
No, but it's what I know, Gregor. It's what I
It's what you
know.
know,
And it's what
but
I love.
if you want 100% original season
I
7, you
just,
need to
I
get them to.
don't like change. Don't
You
like
don't like
change.
change.
So just everyone stop,
And your
keep
favorite
everything as it was.
show is it's one where the leads and the writers and just about everything changes every few years.
Yeah.
It's like a
Why
church.
do you think I'm in such turmoil?
I'm a little bit similar, you know.
5 years down the line, this is going to be the best era I've ever watched. But when I'm in it, I hate it. That's
That
how
is
it
something I do have
goes.
to say when folks talk about, like, everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. I'm going to say this
Mm.
real quickly before we get into the episode. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion
Within reason.
within, well, the reason is the margin there is quite broad.
Within reason.
So, like, if anyone's coming up and being like, "I don't think Jodie Whittaker should be a Doctor Who because she's a woman,"
Oh, yeah, 100%. No.
that's not
Piss
reason,
off.
but you're allowed to think what you think. But see when folks come up and be like, "The show is dead. The show is gonna get cancelled 100%."
Mm.
I just I mean, if you look at the viewing figures, not really,
I
and,
do think there's something in us, though, that, because of the hiatus, we're constantly looking out for that kind of thing.
I don't know.
I'm constantly thinking, is hiatus rearing its ugly head? Is it?
We'll see, but I don't think the show's gonna die, and anyone who doesn't enjoy it should remember that Doctor Who does change, and if you don't
Mm,
like the current iteration of the program,
mm.
there will be another one in the future, and, just being a doom and gloom, that I don't quite like, you know what I mean?
That's odd that
Like,
you're
I
hosting a
really didn't.
podcast with me.
Well, your doom and gloom's a very special kind of doom and gloom.
It's
Uh,
mainly sarcasm, yeah.
Mainly sarcastic doom
But,
and gloom. But, like,
but,
I wasn't too keen on the Chibnall era very much.
mm,
But I didn't go around being like, "Oh, the show's dead, it's gonna get cancelled anytime now."
no.
I just sat back and let other people enjoy it, and then when it started to get better for me, I went back in and,
Mm,
was
that's fair.
enthusiastic again and stuff. And
Yeah.
people should take out I can't believe I'm saying this, people should take after me a little bit for once. Take a page from
Is
my
that the
very
message we're
short
leaving with? That's the message of this
starting with Jane.
episode.
God knows what message we're leaving with. Anyway, um, yeah, so we might do potentially a season 7 story when that comes out. Maybe the
Yeah.
Silurians,
Mm,
maybe Infernal, which we both like, maybe the
mm.
Silurians, which we both, which we differ a bit.
I love it.
I bring up the Silurians now because it's a really good way to edge into another story which has a Silurian in it,
Mm-hmm.
Joy to the World.
Mm.
Mm,
Mm. Mm.
you don't like Joy to the World
Uh,
very much, I don't think.
it brought me absolutely no joy
Ah.
on the original
Uh,
watch, anyway.
how did you feel on the rewatch?
Well,
Because I feel
actually,
like my
I'm,
opinion has changed on my
did
rewatch.
it? Did yours change?
Not drastically, but
Right. Okay.
yeah, I do.
Well, I am glad I put it off for ages. I've literally watched it this morning in preparation for this. Second
Mhm,
time I've watched it. I put it off for over a week
mhm.
because I hated it when I first watched it. Um, I rewatched it, and actually, do you know what? I'm really glad I rewatched it because it just solidified the fact that I hate it so much.
That's where I was going. Ah,
I
okay. I have to
hate it
apologize
so
if
much.
my voice fluctuates through the thing. I'm just my desk is really messy and things keep falling over.
Okay.
But yeah, so you really hate it
I
more than
really hate it. More than what?
Empire of Death.
Oh God, I've got to think. Um. Oh, I think no, not as much as Empire of Death, but it's not far behind.
I'm trying to think of other Doctor Who stories you hate.
73 yards.
Well, I think it's 73 Yards might be better than this one that's coming from someone who isn't my Joy to the World.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting. I think they're definitely on a par for me.
they're on a par. I
Mm,
mean, they didn't have an evil prime minister running away
no.
looking like he shat his pants.
And that was the highlight for me. So take it out, and what have you got?
Um, it's an interesting one because this is technically the first Christmas special not to be written by the uh, incumbent
Mm,
showrunner.
mm,
Uh, Note is written by some. I don't think you can count it as a regular like bog standard writer because he's Stephen Moffat.
mm,
Uh, I was fairly um I was a little bit apprehensive, but I was like, it could go either way. It could be good or bad when I was going into it because Moffat has written a very mixed collection of Christmas
mm.
specials in the past. He's done some that I really like Christmas Carol. I
Oh,
quite
I
like.
knew you were going to say that. I absolutely knew you were going to say that, and I hate it. Oh, I
So
knew you
I
were going
like
to say that.
I like that one. I like the Snowman one.
I
Maybe
quite
that's
like
just
the
'cause
snowman one
Richard E. Grant's
actually.
in it, and we like
Yeah.
him. And Ian McKellen's technically in it, but
Mm,
everyone forgets that he's in it.
yeah.
Mm. Uh, Poor Ian McKellen. But I like that one, and I didn't
Poor
used to
Imk.
like, but in recent years, I've come to like the River Song one a bit more.
Yes,
Uh,
I have as well actually. I watched it the other day. I just felt like it and I thought actually it's not
it
bad.
like, when I
It is
first
not
watched it,
bad.
I did not care about what's happening on the screen at all.
Mm,
I don't know why, I just couldn't connect with it, and I thought, "Well, that's terrible." That's the
mm,
first time I felt like that about a Doctor Who episode. And I kinda just had that opinion of it for years, and I rewatched it, I think last Christmas,
mm,
and I had a jolly good time with it, I don't know. Um, and that kind of comes into why I've got my opinions about this Christmas special, because you obviously didn't enjoy it so
mm,
much, but
mm.
I find if you go in not expecting a masterpiece, expecting just a bunch of cheesy shit, and you have a few drinks beforehand, then Christmas specials can be pretty okay.
Gregor, do you know what my motto was watching this? And I said it to myself out loud several times during the viewing of it.
Okay.
Just enjoy it.
Hmm.
Just enjoy it, Janey. Just enjoy it. Oh, God, they've done that. Just enjoy it. And do you know what I didn't do?
Drink enough?
Well, that, but also I just didn't enjoy it.
Ah. But yeah, I went in quite loose with this one. I didn't, like, expect groundbreaking Doctor Who. It didn't look
Mm.
like it was gonna be that, so,
Well,
yeah.
I didn't. I sort of was at that sort of stage that you sometimes get with this show where you don't see enough to really be able to make an informed, like, guess of what
Yeah,
you're going to get. Do you
they
know what
were
I
quite
mean?
tight-lipped on.
Yeah, I sort of thought I haven't seen enough in a trailer or anything to sort of know what I'm
Mhm.
getting. So I thought, oh, it probably won't be the best one because, as we all know, the best one is Voyage of the Damned, and that is in stone. That cannot be changed. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
don't you dare. I'm fragile.
I agree with that.
Okay, good. Because I'm not
Well,
having it today, Gregor. Um, so I thought it's not going to be the best one, but I don't think it'll be the worst one.
I'd say it isn't the worst one because there are Christmas specials I do not like.
I'd say it's joint.
I think Doctor Mysterio is worse than
Can I just
Joy to the
say, when you were talking about the Husbands of River Song, I
Uh-huh.
was thinking Doctor Mysterio. when it first happened, I absolutely hated it. I thought, why have you got a superhero? It's weird, they don't mix.
It had
Very, very
nothing
odd.
to do with even, like, winter, it was just like, I know they can't just do Christmas stuff all the time, like,
Mm,
because it can get tired, but at least have
very
something that kinda
tired.
feels seasonal, you know, like, wintry, but it just had
Hmm.
nothing to do with anything, it was just there, and the
But you
superhero
know
thing
what? It was about Christmas. He pretended to be Santa falling off the roof.
very
What are you on
start,
about?
few minutes, and then the next we don't even know if the rest of the episode's set at Christmas
I
time.
think it probably is.
Well, they
However,
forgot to mention it if it was.
well, you better talk to your best friend, Stephen Moffat, then, who wrote your favourite one this year. Anyway, I actually don't mind it now. I think it sort of works. It's not a real superhero, it's a thing. There are aliens, there is a spaceship. What's not to love?
How did you know about my secret connection with Stephen Moffat?
Well, you
What
you
what
hype him up a lot.
what
I knew there was something going on. If there's only one reason why you would like A Christmas Carol, let's be honest. Is he paying you?
I like the song.
You know, I like the song.
I like the song, that's it. It's not Stephen Moffat controlling my mind with his
Well,
villainous grin,
very much what it
pulling
looks like.
strings. We liked Boom, didn't we? At least we liked that one.
I was trying to think the other day
Mhm.
what we scored that.
It was an 8 out of
In
10 we gave
fact,
it.
was it?
Yeah, I can
I
remember.
mean, if I'm being totally honest, it was good. However, I do think if it was in a stronger series, I wouldn't have thought much about it at all.
Hmm.
I think if the surrounding episodes weren't so shocking, I'd have just been a bit like, meh,
Mhm. Well,
meh.
I guess we'll never know, Jamie,
Well,
because it is where it is. Anyway, we've been talking too broadly about this
yeah.
story, and we should go
What
into
happens, Gregor?
what happens. First off, we get the pre-title sequence, which we've already seen and
We'd
talked
already
about in the
seen
podcast
Joy makes
before,
a friends with a
but
fly.
we didn't get it. We didn't get the context fully behind it, and this is one of those things which Stephen Moffat used to do quite a lot actually when he was showrunner,
Mm,
but we kind of forgot he did this, where he comes up with something that he thinks is clever and groundbreaking, but
mm,
actually isn't.
yeah.
And this time it was this: I'm going to answer the biggest mystery
Mm.
that's
Oh,
ever
I forgot
had.
about this.
Everyone thought he was going to talk about Jesus, but then he's like,
That
"What
would
is
have been
the
better.
extra door in the hotel room?"
Mm.
I've
Can I
worked
just
in hotel.
say,
I've worked
yeah,
in the hotel industry for 8 years, Janie.
yeah,
Only leaving it a few months ago, and
mm.
I can say to everyone listening that the extra door is a fucking interconnecting door to the other room for when
Yeah.
families stay and you wanna have that is it.
But how do you
There
know
was
that,
no
Gregor? How do you know?
'cause I worked 'cause I had the bloody keys to open
How
the
do you
place.
know? How do you know?
And the amount of guests that came in and the door wouldn't be unlocked and like, "We actually organised for this door to be unlocked. This is unacceptable." And I'll go in and I'll unlock it, it'll take like 10 seconds and they're raging, and I'm like, "It's 10 fucking seconds
I
to open it."
actually organised to go and stay in ancient Egypt. Thank you very much. Open the door.
The amount of cunts that would stay at the time. Anyway, that's my little rant over.
Well,
Uh,
I'm going to go into a little rant now, if you don't mind.
I think I can start it off for you. Why is the doctor looking for milk when he has a coffee machine built
Thank
into the
you
console?
very much. They dedicated an entire panel of the console for a fucking coffee machine for one tiny little bit, and it doesn't even come with milk. Are you joking? What is the point? What is the point?
And the coffee machine was subsequently removed after the incident that
It's
caused.
still there. It's still there. Don't make excuses
Did
for
you check?
them. Do not make excuses for your mate Stephen, okay? It is not good enough.
All right. Well, I did write it down anyway, so I did notice that, and
Yeah. You can only
I was like,
have
oh.
black coffee on the
Anyway,
TARDIS.
I'm gonna start saying positive
Ridiculous.
things now. Sorry,
Ugh,
Janie. We
I'm
get
not.
Joel Fry. I like Joel Fry. He plays that staff member
Yes.
who doesn't want to let anyone down.
Mm.
Uh,
And he
he's a
does.
big comedy name to have in Doctor Who.
Yeah. Hmm.
Have you
I
seen
recognised him.
Our Flag Means Death?
I haven't watched it.
I think you'd like that one actually.
Well, I got like 5
You need
minutes in and I was like, "Ugh,
you need to watch the rest of it. It's good.
mm, yeah,
And
maybe."
Joel Fry is in that, and he's funny in that.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I just it does feel like I know there's a lot of things you don't like, but having a lot of like comedy names in the Christmas special feels very.
There's a lot of things you don't like.
Hmm? What did you do?
Did you just say, "I know there's a lot of things you don't like"?
About this episode?
I know what you meant in general.
I mean that too, but
It's a
yeah.
bit early to be getting catty, Gregor.
Moving on, I'll tell you something else I quite like,
Mm,
which you might not like. I don't know.
I
Uh,
won't.
Trudy's costume. I like. I like that he's got the coat on again,
Yeah,
and I like.
it was. I'd say it's up there. It's one of the best, I'd say. I like the loose trousers. The loose
Yeah,
trousers. I love
when I
them.
first saw them, I wasn't sure how I felt, but they look pretty good,
I
and I
love
like
a
that he's
loose trouser.
got a loose trouser.
I love it.
Um, I like that he's got his suspenders. I think they kind of suit
Mm,
the outfit.
yeah.
And I think they should do more of that kind of like. It's a bit like his Ruby Road outfit, but they just changed it a
Mm.
bit. Making that his definitive look.
And I did
Established.
like seeing him in a dressing gown, and I don't mean that in any other way other than it's just
I
nice.
won't blame you. He's a handsome man.
Well, no,
Uh,
he is, but it's just not. I just love that sort of wandered out the TARDIS in a dressing gown like it's normal. I love
it's a
that.
bit weird that he's got like these full costumes beneath the
Yeah.
dressing gown. It's
Yeah.
a bit like when a
He's
children's
all
TV
ready.
puts on a dressing gown. They've just got their full. They're not like wearing pajamas. They've just got like their shirt and their jeans and their
Yeah.
trainers underneath. That's what it kind of reminded me of, which is a bit of a random thing, but
I
yeah.
liked it. Do you know what I didn't like?
The rest of the episode, I know, Jamie.
Yes. However, I didn't like. Oh, why am I putting my coat on? Oh, what did I
Sherlock
notice?
the Sherlock thing is what I called it because I've been rewatching Sherlock recently, as well, just to remind myself that Moffat can write some good things.
But this is not
It's
one of
very
them.
Sherlock though, isn't it?
It's very
Like,
Sherlock, but it's like stay in your lane. Do you know what I mean? Stay in your
yeah,
lane.
it was a bit naff, but I just wrote
I
that with
hated it.
it's
Oh,
like
why
he
am I putting my coat on? Oh,
reaches into his like old things and just grabs stuff. Just
yeah.
like, okay, I'll use this, and I'll use this.
Lazy. It's very lazy.
Mm, yeah,
He's not coming on the podcast. Can
Moffat.
you imagine? Can you
I don't
imagine?
know. He could be in the room with me right now. You don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure he
Monitoring us,
is.
like,
Gun to your
like
head.
Russian intelligence. He's like hacked in and he's listening with his headphones on,
I wouldn't put it past him.
turning like a little dial, tuning in, writing
Oh,
his notes. Anyway, yeah, that was a bit weird.
mm,
Uh, there was a lot of stuff in this like last time with Boom, he did
mm,
reference old stuff that he'd done, but
mm,
it felt like that was kind of like coy and deliberate and like winking at the fans, like, "Hey, remember fish
mm.
fingers and custard? Remember the
Yeah.
moon and the president's wife?" and that kind of thing. Whilst
Mm,
here, it's like, "Oh, I need a bit to fill in here."
mm.
Script and be like, "I'll use that." You know? Uh, to be fair, I think
What's
they did
this
say
written on the back of a napkin?
it was a bit of a hodgepodge,
Yeah.
last minute thing, like,
Mm,
Rusty Davis was supposed to write the Christmas special, and then he realized that he didn't have time, and then he's like, "Hey,
no.
Moffat,
He
can you
might
give me
have
a
had time if he actually let anyone else write an episode, maybe. He
That is true.
might have had
Um,
time
we'll
to
we'll be
do
talking
that.
about that subject later on, so
Mm,
save it.
at
Keep
length.
hold of it. Not at length,
At
Janie.
length.
You're
I will be
starving.
talking about it at length.
You're supposed to be wanting food. Uh, Janie hasn't had her dinner yet. I have. She hasn't.
No, I'm very hangry. I'm very tired. And
Angry.
I'm very hungry.
Uh, and we're all tired, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's the second. We're recording this on the 2nd of January,
Tired
but
of this
we're all still
shit.
feeling we're all still feeling the new year.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's so true. I think I'm still drunk, honestly.
Actually, I did recover quite quickly
Did
yesterday,
you? Mm,
surprisingly. Um, I'm still tired because my body clock's all buggered, but
mm,
uh,
fun
I was,
times.
yeah, I'm getting to that age where it can be a bit unpredictable now.
Yeah,
Like when you're fresh,
dangerous.
when you're freshly turned 18, hangovers are non-existent, and you're just
Mm,
invincible. You can do do as much as you want and do
yeah.
it all again the next day. It's hit and miss at the moment. And luckily it was a miss yesterday, or was it a hit? What's the positive one?
I think in this context it would be a miss because you've dodged it.
I dodged it. Yes, I
You've
dodged
dodged
it.
it.
Uh, Probably all the carbs and all of that helped as well, and the
Yeah.
Scottish blood that pulses
The
through my
Scottish
veins.
blood. Nice, yeah. That'll
Soaks it
be
all up.
it. Are you from
Anyway,
Scotland?
no, no, I'm from Wales. I'll have you know. Gavin and Stacey, you're lovely.
Okay. Oh,
Have
that's
you been watching
nice.
The Traitors? You might
No, I
not. I don't know.
haven't. I hate the trade. Gregor, I
There's
hate
there's
everything.
a woman in it this year who has decided that she's gonna put on a Welsh accent for no reason, basically. Just as like like, 'cause I like the characters to have little secrets and things, you know,
Right.
sometimes it's related to other characters or stuff like that, or secret jobs that
Oh.
they've done in the past. But this woman's just like, "I'm gonna tell everyone I'm Welsh, but I'm gonna be secretly English."
Secret. I'm gonna be secretly.
Because everyone trusts a Welsh person.
Do
Uh,
they? Because I wouldn't
well,
trust.
they
I
don't,
wouldn't
because
trust
the
Russell
first
T Davies
person
as
they
far as I
voted
could
off
throw
the
him.
show was a real Welsh person.
I would not trust Russell T Davies as far as I could throw him right now. So
Oh,
I
oh, he
don't. I
Welsh.
don't agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was a good hook. I missed that. Sorry, Janie.
Oh.
Uh, anyway, how do you feel about the concept of the Time Hotel as a whole?
Mm.
Not necessarily how it's presented in the episode, but as an idea for a story.
Um. I don't think it's the worst thing that's ever come out of his head.
Well, I mean, he's probably thrown up a few times in the past, Janie. So that was
Um.
what I said.
I think it's probably fine.
I said it's very Douglas Adamsy, which I do quite like. I like,
Mm,
Douglas Adams came up with all these daft things
mm.
with sci-fi, and it feels very similar to that. And the whole like ordering your food and it being made before you've ordered it
I
to
did
give
like
you
that
time
little bit.
travel.
I thought actually
So
that's
very
kind of fun.
Douglas Adams-esque, um,
Mm.
and it's fun. I wrote Pizza Door. I don't know what that
Sorry?
means. I've written
Sorry?
Pizza Door in my notes, but I
Was
don't,
that
because I've watched this a week ago and I wrote the notes a week ago. I'm kind of
pizza door?
Pizza
Oh, do you
Door.
mean Pisa? As in the Leaning
Yeah,
Tower?
yeah, that's it. Sorry, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Pizza Door.
I was like, did I miss something? Pizza
Mamma
door.
mia. Oh
Oh
dear.
god. Oh god.
That's just gonna
Okay.
make me look like a horrible person who just thinks,
I
"Oh,
love it.
Italian
I
pizza."
love it. I love it. Pizza door.
I've also written Hobbit
Oh,
Door. That does make more sense. I don't know if you've
right.
seen, but they had a cheeky little Easter egg from Lord of the Rings. It's the
Right.
door
Well,
to
I
the
noticed
Hobbit
it was
house.
very similar, obviously.
Well, it's identical. They put,
Oh,
like, a picture of the door from one of the films and then the picture of it in the episode in the same door.
well,
So,
that's very
I'll assume
nice. I
that's
like that.
them
So they exist in the
short.
same universe now, then, do they?
Well, how many times has the TARDIS popped up in other shows, and
I
maybe
mean, I
it's
suppose you could also say
mhm.
it's just the door to like the experience in New Zealand.
That's exact or the sets from when they filmed it,
Yeah,
that could be.
yeah.
So it is easy to cover up that in
Mm.
universe. Uh, yeah, I like that. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan, but
Oh, that's a shame.
Doctor Who Well, I can't like everything, Janie. I mean,
No, well,
I'll watch it at some point, presumably, and then I'll
it's
make my
much
mind
better
up.
than Doctor Who.
Well, they've only made 3 of them,
Mm.
or 6 of them. Actually, they've got a show of it there.
And they've got The Hobbit, much better than Doctor Who at the moment.
Well, we can talk about it another time.
And we will.
There's, I've written here that as a character, I quite like
Mm,
Nicola Coughlan as Joy. I think she's a warm enough presence and suitable enough for a Christmas special, though she is massively underused
mm,
in this episode.
mm,
You agree with that?
mm.
You like
I think
Coughlan?
I think that she deserved better.
Uh, yeah.
That's
Well,
all
yeah.
I think
Underused
as a
deserves
character, I
better.
mean. I think Nicola, yeah, sure, great. I think as a character, we deserved more from Joy. Because half of the scenes that Joy is in, Joy isn't Joy. She's like
Yeah,
this
I know.
weird taken over
It
thing.
was weird because
So it's
the
like,
whole, like, advertising of the episode implied that she was gonna be, like, a really central part of it
yeah,
with shooting Atwood the whole time, but
yeah. And I just feel
yeah.
like half the time when she was on screen, it wasn't her.
Mhm.
So that was a shame.
Yeah. I do like Nicola Coughlan. Uh,
Mm.
we haven't brought up Derry Girls. You see Derry Girls?
Love Derry Girls.
I
Love
love Derry
it.
Girls. I've been
It's also
trying
one of my
to
favourite accents to do.
well,
Derry
you can't say that
accent.
and not do the Derry accent, Janie.
I have to not.
No, you can't say that and not do the Derry
Oh god.
accent.
Okay, I when I say it's my favourite, I literally know what it sounds like from Derry Girls and Nadine Coyle.
Maybe
So that's
yeah,
my source material.
okay.
So I can do that in that show that Nadine Coyle did when she wasn't supposed to be on it and she was too young. You know which one? It's like the Irish X Factor. She's being interviewed.
Really?
She's
Okay.
on what is essentially like the Irish version of X Factor. I can't remember what it was called. It was years before X Factor, and she's lied about her age to get on there, but she's only 16 and she's pretending to be like 17 or 18. And it's as she's doing this interview, she trips up, and they realise that she's too young and she's lied.
Okay.
So she's going, my name's Nadine Coyle from the Lack Hill in Derry. Date of birth 15th of the 6th, 85, making me a Gemini. What date of birth did I give now? Was it 15th of the 6th? And then she calls up her mum because they've said she needs to get a passport. I'm really rambling. They've said
God,
she needs to get a passport to prove her age. And she's on the phone. She's like, Mum, you get
um,
daddy check my passport in the car. I don't know where it is.
well done.
Thank
It's
you. Is
good.
that good?
Yes, I can't do Irish properly.
Well,
I mean, I was
it's my
one
motherland, so
what
it's my
do you
mother
like?
tongue.
It's your mother tongue.
It's my mother
My
tongue.
mother tongue is Welsh, so you can battle
Yeah.
over. Uh,
There we
I
go.
do an Irish accent. I'd have to go. Oh, that was terrible.
That was very posh in
That was
that, but
terrible.
that was like a country gent.
Country.
I'd have to go.
I mean, I had a lecturer who was Irish back in the day, and he was
Mm,
like proper rugged, hated the colours red, white, and blue.
that's yeah.
And he like it was this is gonna be a little bit of a trail, but I won't keep it. I love my anecdotes. But it was camera stuff, it was television stuff, and he was
Mm.
reviewing us and we put on like the stuff we'd filmed. He's like, oh yeah, that's a nice and tight shot that, yeah.
That is not bad.
The exposure's just right in that one.
That is not bad.
Nice and tight.
Hmm,
Made out
it's
of
not bad.
context. Sounds
I
terrible.
love an Irish accent. I used to have a boss that was Irish
Exactly.
as well, and he used to
What
just
you're saying.
he had a salon, and he used to just go
Yeah.
around just being like, "You're a star. You're amazing. You're fantastic." Loved it.
That's a good one as well. Do you ever think you should just move to Ireland, just create a fake identity and
That
just
was my
pretend you're
dream
right?
to move to Ireland because
Um,
I just love it. It's where my family's from. I feel really grounded there. I can speak the lingo. I can be like, "Oh my god, you're fantastic. You're amazing.
Amazing.
What a star."
That's just bringing me back to the traitors because last year they had. You definitely would have seen the woman on Twitter because she was all over Twitter.
Mm.
Diane, who was like this
She
middle-aged
the one who
or
had a
late
son in
30s.
it?
Yes, that's
Right.
not my son, but
And
Raz
he
is.
is.
That one. 'Cause everyone just became obsessed with her for about a month, and there's this bit where they're, like, chatting about strategies and stuff, and
Mm.
her son says something, and then she goes, "That's very sneaky. That's very sneaky." I can't do it.
Oh,
She's
that's funny.
"That's very sneaky."
God.
She's just doing Irish accent. I always knew it was gonna come to this eventually.
Should we just not talk about Joy to the World? I'm fine with
Well,
that.
I would agree with that, but I don't wanna waste my notes. They put too much
They're
effort
too
into it,
in-depth. Pizza
too
door?
in-depth. I mean, my next one is there's a bit where when the Doctor's confronting the Silurian, who we never get a name for, which I'm surprised by, because I thought we would.
Oh,
So we just call him the Silurian.
the
Uh,
lizard man.
but Nicola Coughlan comes up, or Joy comes up, and she says, "Are you two having some sort of a game?"
Oh, yeah. And
And
she's
but
like, "Oh, that's filthy."
I heard that. No, I misheard that, so I thought she said, "Are you two having a sort of gay?"
They're one and the same, Gregor.
Are you
Let's
having
be
a sort of
honest.
gay?
Same message.
Same message. But I thought, like, that's when I wrote the notes. I thought, "Oh my god, did you just say a sort of gay? Are
Mm.
you gay?" The answer was yes, but, um, yeah, I've written that down. Shooty cries too much, we all know that. There's no
Oh,
point
that
going
is
into it
taking up
because
half of my page.
that's just
I'm
universally
sick of it.
accepted. Even
I'm
people who
sorry, I'm sick of
really
it.
like this episode are like, "Yeah."
Mm.
'Cause, I mean, I don't mind the Doctor tearing up,
No, but not every
at times,
episode.
but not every episode. It ruins the impact. Like,
It does.
we go back to Boom when Ruby gets shot right in front of him and he can't do anything and he
Mm,
gets like, that's a justified moment
mm,
to tear up, but it didn't have the impact because he cries every episode. Or the bit
yeah.
when, uh, what's her name? Lindy's racist to him and
Oh, yeah.
that would have more
Powerful.
impact if he didn't fucking cry all the time.
Yeah. Mm.
Anyway, that's all we'll say on that because it is a criticism that is talked about a lot, and we'll just be
It's
stomping on a
widely
lot of
shared.
trodden it's trodden ground, really, there's no point.
Mm.
Um, I'll tell you what I really like from Ncuti in this episode, and you might like it, is when he manipulates Joy into getting really angry and losing connection with the suitcase.
Yes.
That was very out of pocket for this Doctor to do something so
Mm,
unlike, because he has been a really emotional Doctor and very human a lot of the time, which
mm,
I'm not sure how I feel, but I do like it when the Doctor does something that a normal person wouldn't do, like behavioural rights, because the Doctor
mm,
is not a human. The Doctor is not a one of us really,
mm,
uh, and it's always worth reminding people that it's not a character we should be relating to because he's 2,000 years old and fought in time wars and stuff.
mm.
How did you feel about him? Uh, Practically, he roasts Joy practically actually because he says stuff like,
Yeah.
"You picked that room. What sort of fucking saddle?"
Well, I have to say, I
Yeah.
sort of because I didn't realise what he was doing until I heard the little click of the handcuffs release, and then I thought,
Oh,
"Oh, they're
did you think
connected."
he was just being a dick?
I thought it was just being an absolute dick, being like, "Do people laugh at you when they hear your name? Like, leave her alone." What horrible thing to say. Do people laugh when they hear your name? I
He
just
was,
thought I just
yeah,
I was
but
a
he's
little
still.
bit tipsy,
I
and I
hope it.
thought, "Don't be a
Mm.
dick."
I hope it does. It's a sign of things to come, to be honest, because I want to see more darker stuff from 15. I think we all do
Mm,
because we've had too much.
crying.
too much crying, too much. Like, I want to see a colder doc. I want to see him regenerating with a completely blank look on his face,
Yeah.
just being like, "Fuck everyone."
Russell,
Uh,
Stephen, I cry in my own life. I come to Doctor Who for escapism. Please do not drag
we
me
all
back.
do. We're Whovians, you know. We,
Don't
of
want to
course, we
see someone cry.
if we want to see someone cry, we look
Had
in the
enough.
mirror.
Look in the mirror.
I mean, yeah, uh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
I like that bit, and I want more. Uh,
That's
to
fair.
sum up, this is when we start talking about. And well, actually, I should have talked about this before because it comes before, but in my notes I've written it after because I'm stupid. How
Right.
did you feel about the stuff with Anita?
Oh, it's an interesting one. I
Did you have
thought it was okay. I actually preferred Anita to Joy because I just thought we got more
me
from her
too?
that I enjoyed. You
It
know,
would have
she,
been. It makes you want. It makes you wish, sorry, that they just done that for the episode. The rest of the time we'll tell
yeah.
stuff. Maybe have a little bit because there needs to be a reason why the doctor's there and stuff. But
Mm,
if they've made most of the episode the doctor having to sit through a year and like having the Christmas start and the Christmas finishing it to give that
mm,
link, but just having something that's a bit like the Lodger, except it's not written by a transphobic arsehole,
mm,
basically.
yeah.
But I do, and it suits 15 because, as we said, a lot of his stuff is quite, you know, human. He can really like talk to people,
Mm,
and uh, you know, he
cry with
helps
people.
people. Well, he's the sort of doctor who can maybe help people in an emotional capacity a little bit more. You know, like
Mm,
some
mm.
doctors, you could be like, "Hey, doctor, listen, I've got some things going on in my life, and I'm just a bit." You know, I was just feeling a bit shit and
Yeah.
worried and stuff, and the doctor would be like, "I don't care, fuck off. I've got
Okay,
Daleks to plot."
Capaldi.
Okay, Capaldi.
That's why I liked him though. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yes.
But
Um,
I think we might see Anita again in some way. I've seen a
we're
lot of
gonna talk
people
about it. We're
saying
gonna talk about it. Don't worry, we will. We'll get into it. I know
what
what you
into
mean.
what you think.
Well, I think we're both gonna be on the same page with that, and I've got it in my notes.
Well,
Uh,
mm,
we do this a lot when you start talking about something. I'm like, no, no, I've got a thing on that. We're going to talk about that. Right?
yeah. As
It's
long
just
as we
makes
do, I've got things to say.
we will do it. I promise. Uh, but yeah, I liked a lot of this. It's probably the best bit of the episodes is that 15 odd minutes that we spend, and somehow they made her
Mm,
feel really genuine as a character as well in that
yeah.
time.
Mm,
She literally just started off as a side character saying some comic relief lines.
mm,
But then as soon as the Doctor's stuck on his own, he has to start talking with her, bam, in comes the humanity, and
mm,
it's a lot like with actual hospitality workers where you don't when you go and think about all the times you've stayed in a hotel or gone to a restaurant or something like that,
mm,
and you don't really notice people and that like the people who work there, and then maybe you start up a conversation with one and then
mm,
you really enjoy it and you feel different about that person.
mm.
Yeah, it kind of fits into that quite well, and coming
Yeah.
from someone who, again, has worked in a hotel for 8 years, yeah, I like that. I'll tell you what I also really like,
Mm,
and this is gonna be the some nerdy, pointless shit that no one will like except me.
right.
The little TARDIS models that Shooty collects,
Yes, I know where
apart
you're
from the
going with
teapot
this.
one, apart from well, you've seen it because I posted
Mm,
it. Apart from the teapot, all of them are not none of them are official merchandise except for the
mm,
teapot.
yeah.
Fucking teapot ruining everything. They're all like things that could theoretically exist in
Mm,
the world of Doctor Who. The littlest one is Hornby. The one up from
mm,
that is Dinky Toys, which is
mhm.
like a 1950s
I've
die-cast
got
metal.
both of those ones, so I'd
Have you been
say.
trying to identify the TARDIS toys?
Well, no, but my dad had them, so I remember them from when I was a kid. So as soon
Ah,
as I saw them, I was like, "Oh, that's the ones we've got."
yeah. So with Hornby, dinky toys, and then
Mm,
salt and pepper shakers, which I
mhm.
have. I don't have the Toynbee one, oddly, and I'm the one who likes model trains.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to find, I think.
Is it?
The
The
Hornby
Hornby
TARDIS.
one is brilliant. My dad had a train set out in the summer house when we were growing up, and it was a
Okay.
TARDIS. It wasn't a police box, it was a TARDIS. I used to go in there and play. It
Well,
was great. Loved it.
yeah, what was I saying? You've made me lose track, Jenny, God's
I'm
sake.
sorry, you like trains.
I do like trains. It's a terrible affliction to have.
Do you know what I did like? Because I feel like we're about to get out of this subject, so I need to draw it back in quickly. I
Please do.
really liked the models. And then she said, "Well, where did you get them?" And he said, "Online." There's loads of them for some reason. I
Mhm.
liked that because it was almost like a little, in Remembrance of the Daleks, when the telly said, "And now we're on to our new sci-fi series, Doc." It's sort of like that little, they're sort of hinting it's
Kind
because of
of
the
mess with
show,
it, yeah.
but they're not going that far as to say, well, it's because this is a show.
I
Do
mean,
you know what I
in
mean?
yeah, I mean,
I
in
kind
theory
of
as well,
like
that
that.
could be like because the Doctor's got, like, a following in universe, hasn't he? He's got, like, Clive in his shed and all that.
Well, I was
Yeah,
thinking more like it was a bit like tongue in cheek, like, well, it's because there's a show called Doctor Who. That's why there's so many.
That's probably more
And I kind of like
likely,
that because
yeah.
it's not saying this is why, but it's sort of
Mhm.
hinting, well, we're aware of it.
Mhm.
I like it. I'm a fan.
Um, anyway, we've talked about the TARDIS models enough.
Yeah,
Moving
well,
on.
mm,
Shooty Gatwa completely stole Fix-It Felix outfit for
I
those
don't know
scenes in the
who that
hotel.
is.
Fix-It Felix?
Fix It Felix.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to get you a
Is it a
picture of Fix-It
Scottish? Is it a
Felix.
Scottish thing? Is it from Edinburgh?
I did that about Edinburgh, Scotland. No, you've seen Wreck-It Ralph, haven't you?
Oh,
Fix-It
I mean,
Felix,
when it
Wreck-It
came
Ralph.
out,
Oh, fucking
is
I
he the
mean,
little
just
guy with the hammer?
yeah, he's the little guy with the hammer, but if you look at
Right,
his
don't
outfit,
remember
it's
what he looked like
exactly
at
the
all.
same as what Ncuti Gatwa wears in
Oh,
the scenes.
well, there
He's
we
just
go then.
stolen Fix-It Felix's outfit, minus the hat,
Right,
and
okay.
replaced the hammer with
That's
a screwdriver.
that's good to know.
I'm just gonna get a picture of it real quick just to justify this because, you know, you did the fisherman, I still haven't forgiven you for that.
Look, it's an okay outfit for 2 minutes, Gregor. Get over it.
2 minutes, too
And I
long.
think we can both agree that even though you hated it, it was still the best thing in that episode. Because it was dog
No,
shit. No,
no,
it
no.
was. It
Professor
was.
shitting his pants was the
Get
best
over
bit.
it. Get over it.
Actually, I can't download the picture, so never mind.
Ah,
Just Google it later, it's fine.
well, let's move on.
Let's move on
Do
to
you know what
other
I
things.
did like from that little 15-minute, oh, he's stuck in real time bit?
Mhm.
Oh, drains are blocked. Is this armed?
Oh, yeah,
I
this
love that.
okay.
Excuse me, is this armed? I loved it.
Yeah, well, you just can't have a sink plunger in Doctor Who without
That was
doing
genius.
that.
That was the best bit of the episode.
Everyone loved
Absolutely.
that.
It was brilliant.
It's like that little meme, like, that everyone liked that thing in the corner of the screen.
Mm. I also
Uh,
just like the idea that Time Lords don't need toilet plungers. So he has only ever seen one in the concept of a Dalek. So he's like, what the fuck is this? What are you
why
doing
do
with
Time Lords
this?
need toilet plungers, Janie?
Why wouldn't they? I
Why
don't know.
why why wouldn't they need
I
toilet
just
plungers?
think like if there was a blockage, they'd timey-wimey it. They'd be like, okay, well,
You think there's just a particular time zone
send it
that's just
into the void.
filled with shit, or the time vortex is just filled with shit, and
Yeah,
then
why not? Why
transports
not? They
it.
do. They disintegrate it or something, wouldn't they? There'd be no
What if
such
it's
thing as a
still ever
blockage.
floating? What if the reason why the time vortex keeps getting
God.
murkier and murkier every time they change it because it's just getting more polluted
Wow.
with time with Sutekh
Maybe that is a
getting pulled
theory.
along in the finale when he's getting pulled along the base, he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh God, that's Maldox." Eat jitsu tech, literally.
I think they could make a storyline out of it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
When I come into power, or when you come into power, when one of us
I
comes
come
into
into
power.
power. Okay, good, good. I'll hold you to that.
Indeed. Anyway, now we can talk about Anita being Mrs. Flood.
Right, good. Good.
It's
What do
a
you
nice
think of
theory,
that?
isn't it? It's possible. And
Mm,
I'll tell you for why.
tell me for
Because
why.
I know Stephen Moffat talks a lot of shit,
Yeah,
always
he
has,
does
always will.
constantly.
But when they were talking about Empire of Death with him,
Mm,
and they were like, "Did you know about what was coming?" And Stephen Moffat said no, but he knew what was coming in the next finale.
right.
And a logical reason why he would know that is if
Because
a
yeah.
Stephen Moffat character was going to be in the next
Mm,
finale. Nanita is a
mm,
Stephen Moffat character, and Mrs. Flood is in presumably in the finale next year.
mm.
So, but actually, I suppose she was in the finale but she wasn't really like in it. Like she wasn't a big part of it.
Well, and I
Uh,
also think maybe Russell had written that and then afterwards had gone, oh, just write a character.
oh yeah. Well,
Do you
I
know what I
think the two are
mean?
linked. I think Stephen Moffat's episode here and next year's finale are linked, and I
Yes, but
think
I
Flood.
think the last finale and this previous episode, they like you wouldn't need to know that they were the same character, I don't think.
No.
Necessarily. You would just need to say make a character that has whatever connections to whatever, and that's sort of yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
So you're not sure.
I think they do. We all know they like to play with names. So
Mm.
Anita in Doctor Who, and then
Dobson.
Anita Dobson.
Yeah.
It's not that far of a leap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. I have my
Another
doubts.
theory that's appeared recently, which
Mm.
I'm kind of like, if is people might reckon she's Censor, the god of disaster. There's this theory because she's called Mrs. Flood, and floods are a form of natural disaster.
Oh, that's so good. I hadn't even thought
Yeah.
about that.
Well, the name is Incensor, like the word in and then the word censor together.
Yes, thank you.
I don't want her to be Incensor
Okay,
because
why?
I'm a sad Doctor Who nerd and I want old baddies to come
Okay, who do you want her
back.
to be?
Uh, oh, I mean, the Rani would be really boring, to be honest, wouldn't it? It's really
Hmm.
predictable. Uh, I mean, I wouldn't mind her being a renegade Time Lord, you
Yeah, I
know,
was gonna say I wouldn't mind her being someone who was
'cause
good in
I'm
the classic
tired.
series and has turned bad.
Something like that, or I'm just a bit tired of gods, really. We've
It's
had a
too
lot of them,
much. And we know
and
we're getting another one next series anyway,
we are.
so
But yeah, I want something a bit more familiar. Anyway, we've gone on another tangent. Sorry,
another
ladies and gentlemen.
tangent. Bloody
What do you
hell.
expect from us?
It
Honestly,
is very on brand.
it's very on brand. We haven't done an Adric cast in a very long time, so me and Janie have got a lot
Ages.
of this energy we need to let out, this
Hmm.
chaotic. We are the gods of disaster, really.
That's so true.
That is so true.
That is so
Anyway,
true.
going back to Joy to the World, we've talked about the scene where the Doctor manipulates Joy into getting angry. I like
Yes.
how they talk about people picking shitter rooms because they don't,
Mm.
who wants to pick that really shit room unless you hate
Yeah.
yourself? Who wants to buy fucking own brand brown sauce unless you hate yourself?
Oh God.
uh, I mean, it's a little bit of a stretch because sometimes rooms are just cheaper when they're shit,
Mm. Yeah, I'll just go for a
But
cheap one.
but the thing about a house being like presenting yourself to people and then a hotel room being not presenting yourself to people, so it's like more, when you do things like that,
Mm,
you're more true to yourself.
yeah.
Uh, there's something clever in there. Maybe I just didn't understand it fully. Uh, I don't know if Moffat understood it fully either.
No, I doubt it.
You were onto something, Moffat. I don't know what it was, and you don't know what it was.
No.
Uh, but yeah, I quite like that bit. We're gonna have to talk about something which seemed a bit controversial, but I'm not sure.
Ooh.
Uh, COVID's coming into this
Oh,
episode.
I don't think that was controversial.
I agree. I
Not
mean,
for any of us.
uh, if it was a bit more like, if they talked about it more in the
Mm.
episode, maybe I would have been like, oh, can't be bothered because it's still quite
Yeah,
recent.
there's
But
that
he did
fine
get,
line, isn't it, where it's like you want that escapism, but also
yeah,
you need it to be drawn, you need something based in reality, so you
yeah,
can't just totally ignore it. So
yeah.
it is a fine
This is
line.
the first time they've addressed the pandemic in the
Mm,
show, I think. Um, I mean, everyone understands. Like, is a point as well where everyone can understand pretty
yeah.
much immediately. Like, if they'd done this 20 years in the future, if they did this further down the line, 20 years or 10
Mm,
years or something, they wouldn't be as like people just instantly understand. Like
yeah.
when Joy said, she didn't even need to say the word COVID or pandemic.
Mm,
Just I had to say goodbye to mum on iPad, and
mm,
yeah, everyone knew what she was talking about.
mm,
And then being like, "Those bastards partied." Well, I have to say,
yeah.
I don't think she says "those bastards." She should have.
I think you've embellished that, yeah.
For some reason, I just had
A
it in
little
my
bit.
memory that she's like, "Those bastards partied." When
Those fuckers partying.
even without the vulgar language, think they hit the nail on the head.
Mm,
Fucking Boris. I never mind when
fucking
Doctor Who
Boris.
goes. I never mind when
Fucking
Doctor Who
Gordon Brown.
Gordon Brown, honestly.
Fucking Gordon.
We've already brought up brown sauce in this episode. Now we're bringing him into
Oh
it.
God.
It's Gordon Brown, God of sauce.
Fucking Gordon Brown. Drinking his
Um,
sauce while we're all locked in locked up at home. Bloody Gordon Brown.
no one's gonna understand that, Jay, because they don't.
No, I made a connection between between Gordon Brown and Russell T Davis because I
You think
said that Russell T Davis 1 felt like New Labour and Russell T Davis 2 felt like Gordon Brown.
I
Ending
mean,
ending
Russ.
New Labour.
I don't know how Rusty Davis won RTD1 can feel like New Labour because it took the piss out of New Labour.
No, but I
Uh,
just mean it was new. Everyone was
it
on
was
first name
new.
basis. It
They
was
destroyed homes in the
after
Middle East.
years of misery, it was back.
Yeah, yeah,
There was a lot of war in Rusty Davis 1 as well, so actually that is a link. That's a link.
there we go. Unnecessary time war. Time war crimes.
So many wars.
Purple condoms getting thrown around.
What?
That's a niche reference to
Yeah.
an event that happens during Tony Blair's time in office.
Oh, I don't
We'll
know
move.
that one.
It was during a protest. I think it was
Oh, you
rights for
obviously know
dads.
more than
They
I
put a
do.
purple condom at his shoulder, and they thought it
Hmm,
was a bomb, but it wasn't. It was a Johnny.
nice.
Uh, I've lost. That's made me lose my track. You made me
We were
lose my track.
talking about COVID and Joy losing her mum, getting
Yeah,
angry.
I
I
don't
can't
really have.
believe we're still there, to be honest.
Gonna, it's one of it's an unnecessary controversy. I think it's pretty okay overall, and I've seen
I
some
think
people
it's
being like,
fine.
uh, my life got really fucked up during COVID, and this really hurt. I
Mm,
mean, I know some people really had it bad and lost and
yeah.
stuff, and I cannot speak for them and all of their issues and things. though it's such a big event that it couldn't not be addressed at some point in the show,
True. I agree.
uh, ultimately.
Mm.
Anyway, moving on, we get all that shit with Joy that we've pretty much covered.
Mhm.
We get we find out, unsurprisingly, because it got spoiled for us by a preview
Mm.
clip, that
Mm.
Villengard are behind everything.
Yeah.
Uh, I only have one real note about their
Mm.
involvement in this episode, and it's
Mm.
Shooty's pronunciation of
Of
Villengard.
Velengard.
Villengard. Villengard.
Is that
It's
not how they pronounced it in the um the
no,
Empty Child? I'm trying
uh,
to think.
all of the times, and
Has it
I
always
can
been
tell you,
Villengard?
yeah, and then
I
people
prefer
call
Villengard.
but they're
Sounds
villains, and they
sounds more
guard.
spacey though. Villengard.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I prefer villain guard personally.
Well, we'll have to agree to disagree.
We'll have to agree to disagree. And end of the podcast. Sorry, guys. Is and the thing that I find funny actually is because Shooty pronounces it that way.
Mm.
Nicola Coughlan, who has openly said she didn't understand what was going on at all,
Nice,
and knows nothing
nice.
about Doctor Who, starts calling it like
To
that
be
as well.
fair, neither did I. So, you're
She's
not
going around like,
alone.
"Oh, Doctor, what about Villa Engar?" uh,
God.
I guess they are just Villengard now.
Yeah.
Villengard.
I don't think we need to overanalyze it.
It's always the least important things that I end up
Yeah. Yeah.
overanalyzing. Um, but yeah, it's kind of just there. They're just in it, sort of. Maybe I feel like
Mm.
Stephen Moffat keeps involving them because he has this thing about having Villengard in his last episode, and every time he thinks he's writing his last episode, he writes Villengard into it. Like he did for Twice Upon a Time, and he did for Boom, and he's done it here. And if
Was
he
that
writes another,
Villengard in Twice Upon a Time?
yeah, that's where Rusty was. They're in the remains of the Forges of Villengard.
I actually had no idea. I haven't. It was such a shit episode. I've never watched it again. Hated it. There's
I'm
a
not gonna
theme here.
disagree. I'm not gonna disagree, but
It's
I did watch
awful.
it
It's
quite
awful.
recently, just before Christmas. I watched it.
Mm.
Uh, that's
Still
made
as
wider
bad?
conversation. Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not good, is it?
We love you, Pete. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But the story was dog shite.
Yeah.
It
Well, we can talk
was.
about it another time. That's We're opening more cans of worms than I have room
I'm
for.
not talking about it another time. It's over.
My next note is resolution was a bit naff. Another special.
No.
I do believe I meant the resolution of this particular episode
Right.
was a bit naff, but
I
because
thought
I've
you were
written
just going off on a tangent again.
it, no, I've written
Resolution
it as
wasn't
like new
great.
resolution.
Christmas Invasion, could take it or leave it.
You know what's
Um,
actually funny? I watched
mm,
Resolution yesterday because I was bored, and I don't know
right.
why. It was New Year's Day. I thought I'll watch a New Year's episode
Oh,
of Doctor
that's
Who
fair.
resolutions for New Year's.
Mm.
It's not great. It's not terrible.
No.
Um,
Anyway, back to Joy to the
anyway,
World.
we should just rename this episode.
We should just name it Joy to the World and other
We
episodes.
we reviewed Christmas Carol, essentially, The Snowman, Husbands of River Song,
Oh,
Return of Doctor Mysterio,
God.
Twice Upon a Time, Resolution. We've ticked off a
Um,
lot. Um,
there is
yeah,
something I
you say.
wanted to ask you
Oh, that's a
about,
bad idea.
well, about the episode because I wasn't, sure. So, what was the, like, how do I even word this?
Point?
What was the motive? Like, there wasn't
Um,
an evil plan as far as I'm concerned.
there was. It
Mm,
wasn't communicated as well as perhaps it could have been.
no, see, I think that's where I got
I should
confused
add, I did
because
enjoy watching this story, but it's got its flaws, and I will
it's
not pretend
awful,
it
Gregor.
doesn't.
It is awful.
The baddie in this story
Yes.
was the star that Villengards were wanted the starseed, which
Yes.
was sentient, and Villengards wanted the starseed to turn into a star and have an unlimited source of unimaginable power, as Davros would put it.
And lots of rice pudding.
Lots of rice pudding. I love a remembrance reference when you can get one in
Hmm.
there. But that was like the baddie, essentially. That was the
But
evil plan.
okay, the only thing is though that was wrong with this. I don't see a problem with that. Sure, energy, love it. No problem. The only thing is, there is one tiny throwaway line where Shooty's like, "Oh, it'll kill everything," and I was sat there and I was like, "Well, they haven't actually said that they want it to bloom on Earth. It's just a little star that they want. They could take it off. I don't know
Oh,
that they're not going
why
to do
would they
that
take it to Earth if they didn't want to it to bloom on Earth?
because they need the
Mm.
time hotel. But then they could take it elsewhere
I
when it's
assume
ready.
that okay,
When it's
so
ready to pop."
I assume that they didn't want to wait the 2000 the however many thousands of
Why
years,
would you? There's a time
and they had
hotel
to
down the
move the
road.
time hotel, but if they want to leave it there, they'd have to leave it within the vicinity of Earth, and
However,
yeah,
so the whole point was that they'd put it in one room and then they'd go and retrieve it from another, yeah? When it was ready.
yeah,
Why would they bother retrieving it if they just wanted it to explode on Earth anyway?
because they were going to retrieve the exploded star, the sun thing, whatever it would be,
To do what with it if they're just going to let it explode there?
or
Leave
retrieve
it there,
something,
come back.
oh, they were gonna retrieve it as it was about to explode, weren't they? Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I think they were about to retrieve it off on their Todd, take it elsewhere, and let it get the energy from
Well
it. What is wrong with that?
we'll go and look up Stephen Moffat's address, and we'll send him a letter.
Stephen, it's not good. I'm sorry, it's just not good enough.
It's a fair point. I mean, I do say the resolution was a bit naff.
No
Uh,
episode for you next year, Stephen.
maybe it was a bit half-cooked in that degree.
Do you get what I mean, though? Because if they were
Yeah,
just going to retrieve it and go off with it somewhere, there's no evil plan. They just want a bit of solar power.
it's
Do you know what I
Twice Upon a
mean?
Time all over again.
Literally, there
There's
is
no
no
evil plan.
evil plan.
There's no
He
evil
has
plan.
lost
This
it.
episode is fucking pointless. I'm more forgiving with Twice Upon a Time, though, because that was literally written at the very, very last minute, and it's shit because like, if Moffat didn't write it, there would be no Christmas. Like, he thought Chibnall was gonna write the Christmas special, and then Chibnall
Mm,
was like, "No, I'm writing Broadchurch, it's better,
mm,
blah." And then the BBC told Moffat, "Either you make a Christmas special or you lose the slot forever."
mm,
So
mm.
Moffat's like, "Oh, we can't lose the Christmas special slot, it's the most important slot of the year for Doctor Who," and then he
Yeah.
hastily rewrote Doctor Falls, added Twice
Mm,
Upon a Time, made Twice Upon a Time at broadcast, and then Doctor Who didn't get a Christmas special again for about 6 years.
yeah. What
Doctor's
was
a
the
funny
point?
thing, isn't it? What was the point? Anyway,
What
we're
was the
talking about
point?
other specials again.
Well, you are.
I am
Don't
sorry.
drag me into this.
I am well, I already have, Janie. We're still we're
I just
still
want to say one of my notes is, oh look, it's a dinosaur. I was
here's
so
something.
I was so unenthusiastic about this.
Yeah, here's something that gave me it didn't give me the ick, that's when you're dating, isn't it?
I
The
don't think specifically when you're dating. I think you can get the ick just
well,
generally.
something that annoyed me was when people really slagged off the clip that they showed,
Mm,
uh, however many months ago it was it about
a month.
5 months? No, 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 it was
Well,
they showed a clip where it was, like, the suitcase and the dinosaur was in it.
that was like a month ago.
No, I'm
That was
sure it was
not
more than that.
5 months. That was for like comic relief or something.
Comic
It was
Relief
at the
was not
beginning of November. I
uh,
know, it feels longer.
did it not do
Been a
something else?
very,
No.
very long year.
I was waiting for you to say it very, very.
Very, very
Uh,
long. Very, very harsh.
Either way, the color, there is a difference between the 2 clips. Like, the clip as
Right.
it's there and as it is in the episodes, the color
Mm.
grading wasn't finished yet
Oh.
on the preview clip, and everyone complained like, "God, this episode looks so flat, and
Mm.
this is a clear sign of the editing team being lazy." and then in the episode, it was fine because they'd finished it by that
Mm.
point. I mean, I guess you could say they shouldn't be putting out preview clips that haven't been
Yeah,
finished, but
a bit weak, isn't it?
it's a reminder that preview clips don't necessarily mean that, if there's an error like that in a preview clip, that doesn't mean it's gonna be an episode,
Mm.
you know? Anyway, that's a not tangent there. My final note is just sort of my overall not likey things, and you'll
That's
agree
fair.
with all of
I will
these.
agree with every single one of them.
I feel like the big flaws in this episode, we're talking about it overall now, we've finished doing little bits, thank God.
Mm.
Uh, it feels like it keeps changing thematically.
Right.
Like, it starts off being a proper, like, it's gonna be a romp. It's gonna be, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna go through these daft time zones. Look, Joel Fry's here, he's funny. I've
Mm.
got a mildly comedic Silurian. Here's Nicola Coughlan being all
With a
funny and
fly.
lovely with a fly," which I know they wanted it to be wholesome, but it did just make her look really
It was
sad.
weird. Yeah, it made it look
Which
really
kinda
pathetic,
fits
bless
in with
her.
the character.
Mm. Who
The Doctor
talks to a
should go around
fly?
and go, "You talk to a
Do you know
fucking
who I
fly."
bet talks to a fly? Stephen Moffat. I bet he talks to flies. Weirdo.
It's got in my head, 'cause I think
I
he
bet he
has a
does.
cheeky grin.
I bet.
Whenever he smiles, he just looks slightly sinister, Stephen Moffat,
Yeah.
bless
I
and
bet
I
he
can just
has.
see
I bet he
like,
has
he looks
like.
at me like,
I bet he has like one of those ant farms as well, and he just shakes it every now and then. I bet he
No,
does.
he
Look at
doesn't
that
shake.
face.
He has, like, a bottle of water or a bottle of, like, Coke or something, he just pours it into
Just
the
pours in
bowl,
slowly.
watches the
I
tunnel
bet he does.
towards
Look at him. I bet he
the
does.
thing.
And then he's like, "Oh, this will make a great story." Russell,
Russell, I've just killed more
I've
plants.
just killed more ants. Imagine that's an email, Russell, I've just killed more ants. Give me another episode. Oh, God.
No, no, Stephen, you haven't killed enough ants yet. You need to kill more.
What about the flies? Have you killed the flies yet? No, I'm talking to the flies. Oh, funny.
Two of them do look they can look a bit unhinged sometimes when they take
Yeah,
pictures, and I think
very.
it's the way they smile.
Mm.
Bless them. Yeah,
Oh,
Stephen
well, they've
Moffat does.
got, as far as I'm concerned, they've got nothing to smile about. This was shocking.
Alright. Well, yeah, I think it changes thematically multiple times because they go for that, and then
Mm,
they go for the lodger thing with the, uh, doctor being stuck, and then, this whole thing about COVID and loss.
mm,
Yeah, it feels like if they focused on one of those things for the whole episode,
mm.
it'd be good. They're all solid starters for a story or a special,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
having them all mashed together doesn't work.
No. It was
And it's
too
classic.
much.
That I think that's probably the biggest flaw
Mm.
of this story is that that's where it kind of went wrong because not a lot of people have kind of pinned it down. When I see criticism for this story, it's just I didn't like it, which I suppose is fine. But
Mm.
that's why I think it didn't quite work. But then again, because I watched it in a particular way, drunk, I found
Yeah,
myself
I think
enjoying
that
it. And
helps.
that
Look,
is my technique. It's just drink a
I'll
lot,
say,
keep an open mind.
mm,
If you don't like it, it won't be as bad at the very least.
if you don't like it, it'll be overseen.
But now I remember that Doctor Who fans are an unsociable bunch and just hate doing
Yeah.
anything else. Like, I have another friend who really didn't like Joy to the World,
Mm.
and they messaged being like, "Wait, like you think you've been negative about it? They were really bad." And I was just like, "Have you watched Wallace and Gromit?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Just go and watch. Just go and watch. Just go and cheer yourself up, you miserable.
Mm.
Just go and
That
watch
was the
something else."
highlight of my Christmas. Absolutely.
I was like, I was like, "Yeah, just go and cheer yourself up. It's fine. And, Doctor Who's
Mm.
been and gone." And he's like,
Thank
"No,
God.
no, I will complain about Doctor Who, and I will not cheer myself up." And yeah,
Do you know what, though? That friend is very fortunate because they didn't have to watch it a second time, and I bloody did for this.
you do your part for the podcast. So we
Yeah.
couldn't get to Let's Go Hitler last time.
No.
Oh yeah, that's another episode that's shitter than this one.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It absolutely isn't. It is not a good episode, but this is worse.
You
This is
think
worse.
Let's Go Hitler's better than
Yes, absolutely I do. This is awful, Gregor.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm here for the hot takes. Even though they are ice cold.
Yeah, that's icy cold because one of them's about like one of them's got Jesus popping up a little bit at the end, and the other one's got Hitler popping.
Right, Gregor, do not turn this into something it isn't. I'm not advocating for Nazis. What I am saying is that this was a worse story than Let's Kill Hitler. Okay?
This just makes me want to review Let's Kill Hitler to kind of break down.
I
But the
that,
problem,
that is how I
I
would
don't
score it.
know,
Is it better or worse than Joy to the World? Better.
have you finished?
I think I'm finished.
You're finished, JD. You're done.
I'm I'm finished a long time ago. I've had enough.
Well, I just want to get it out of the way. I'm going to let
Two.
you go. No, no, I won't do a two. I'll do more than
Okay,
two.
a three.
Give it a four, and I'll be happy.
A four.
Yeah, four.
I'll give it
You
a four
said
because my cutoff
you
was
said it's
five, to
on
be honest,
par.
so I'll
You said
definitely
it's
give it a
on
four.
par with 73 yards earlier. We gave 73 yards 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I was
I
willing to go up to
enjoyed
five,
watching
so
it.
four works for me.
I mean, 5
No,
is,
four, no,
but I'm willing to keep it at 4.
good, because that's where it's staying now.
4
You
is I
suggested that
enjoyed
of
it.
your own free will.
I am 4 is I personally enjoyed it, but I know that it wasn't the best for everyone. Uh,
It was
I think it
horrific.
was kind of just sort of average Doctor Who. It's a bit like
Awful.
Emperor of Death, really, where when
Awful.
I watched it, I didn't think it was great, but I was like, it's just kind of meh, 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 you
It was
know.
a piece of shit, Gregor. Sorry.
This is thank God we didn't record this at Christmas because it's just a fucking
Ruined my
it's
Christmas.
no, it did. You know, you as soon as you finished watching that, you turned on Wallace and Gromit and you're happy again. Don't pretend
Oh,
your
no,
Christmas was ruined.
of course I was. But that doesn't mean that I'm any less happy with the episode. It
Yeah,
just means that actually finally I had something good to watch
a
after an
good palate,
hour
a good
of
palate
that.
cleanser.
Yeah, oh, it was lovely. It was lush.
Welcome to the Gromit cast, everyone.
Well, we have spoken about making this an Aardman cast before.
We
So
have
I think
because
the Aardman cast is on its way.
yeah. Anyway, see you guys later. Fuck off now. Oh, we're gonna do season 2 maybe as well, depending. We'll
Maybe,
see.
maybe,
Maybe. Right. Bye.
maybe. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.